With the rowers, we're going to have less people per class, right? Your ARC, your average revenue per class, is going to go down because we are going to have less people in there because the rowers take up more space.
So I appreciate you unpacking that. I know it's not where you were planning to go, but I think people would have heard that and said, why is that being more expensive with rowers? It's because, well, your capacity for people in the class, and if we're optimizing this business, by the way, what do you think optimum capacity for a class is? And I don't mean number of people. I mean, what % of maximum capacity do you want to see somebody filling on a class by class basis?
Sure. So utilization rate is generally what we call this. So you would, number one, have to establish a class cap, right? You have to know how many people you want to service, whether it's due to you believe there's a quality, I don't do more than 20 because I think it becomes a quality issue with one coach or whatever the fuck it may be.
But then it could break down to, it's 10 per coach.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever the case is. I want to know
100%. So we're talking like a utilization rate, how many people out of those 20 or whatever that cap is.
What percent?
Yeah. So my number is you generally want to, if you're at 90, 87 to not and above consistently, that's great because you always have to keep a buffer. People are like, but what, we just want to sell at every class, right? I'm like, yeah, but then where do you put the new person to try it, right? You got to have a little bit of a buffer room in there. That's airlines oversell planes. Okay, they oversell. We all know that makes a very bad client experience there. So we don't want to oversell the seats in your plane. So like at Urban and at most
Spin studios used to do that too.
100%. I always recommend, we always had a buffer. We literally just always blacked out 2 spots in class as a reservation, for prospects. And if coming up to, a couple hours before the class, no one had booked it, we open them up. And the wait list got to fill in and the wait list got the email notification. Hey, you got in the class, whatever it may be. But no, I generally want to see a class, if we're going to look at their utilization rate and it's good, 87 and above is real healthy. Gyms that are like, yeah, I've had the 6 a.m. class for a year and the utilization rate's 35. I'm like, cancel that class. Like fucking cancel it, or you split the difference. Like if you have a 5, a 6, and a 7 a.m. and 6 is dog shit, but 7 and 5 are good, you can just go from 3 down to 2 and maybe go like 5:30 and 6:30. You can just split the difference and kind of do something different with it. So, but no, I want to see utilization in a class 87 and above for a healthy, I know you're probably not having any sales issues because that's the one thing people don't think about. Try selling someone who came into a group fitness class and they saw videos of lots of people in the class, all excited with a lot of energy. And then they come in and there are 3 people in that class. You look like a fucking loser. You look unsuccessful. And that's not what they saw in your videos.
Dude, that was one of my biggest concerns when we opened. Because I said at Active Life, we're never going to feel busy. Our model is not high volume. I don't know how our audience is going to feel when they walk into a 3,000 square foot building and there are 2 people training. Because in the first year, we're going to have that a lot. And if we don't have those people start to say, I understand why there's few people here right now, and I'm excited to move into the other part of the business when I graduate and earn that, then we'll never have people moving into the other part of the business. So that was a big concern for me early on. It hasn't been a problem, but what you're describing is 100% true.
Yeah.
And it's like doing an event and nobody shows up and you're like, yeah.
And to go back to your thing too, like that post I made where I broke down, I showed like CrossFit, if you're in a CrossFit class, you might be taking up on average the average person might take up 125 square feet, whereas yoga takes up on average, the average person takes about 45 square feet. It's not only that, but operational capacity takes in the class flow model. So you have stations, you have the chicken with the head cut off. You have an in-place model like what Urban Movement had and Industrious has and, spin class that you're in place the entire fucking time. So there's also not only your fitness methodology and how much the equipment and all that takes up, but it's also the flow of people and all that you got to consider. But I'm constantly, if you would have told me before last weekend when I was in Charleston, you can fit 42 people in a barbell-based HIIT group, strength and conditioning, whatever, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. And then I got these guys that hit me up for the gym real estate company. They told me what they were doing and they told me their numbers and I go, I'll be down this weekend. I'm going to come look at this. Because that's the thing is I have the luxury of traveling and doing this. Like, I don't just like hear about it. I'm like, oh, and reference it on the podcast. I'm fucking going. I am flying
How do
there.
they put 42 barbells in 3,000 square feet?
And that's not 42. They got treads up against the wall. I think they got 16 treads. And then they have a, 48 foot free standing rig with stations on each side. So there's 16 people that are able to access. And all they do are they do the Ripito lifts, vertical pressing, press, push press, hinge, RDL, deadlift, front squat, back squat. No, yeah, they don't do anything where the barbell's getting violent and it's changing, it's, you know, violating any straight up and down paths. But that satisfies enough people in their market and their client to get for some good strength work. And then behind them, they've got the assault bikes or whatever the fuck else it is, and dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever. But yeah, I hear something. I'm constantly being challenged because there's people out there that are in the I'm not in the trenches anymore. But the second I hear something crazy, I'm like, have you seen Fusion gyms?
No.
Bro, when we get done on this podcast, I'm going to show you.
Oh, is that the one you told me about a few weeks ago?
80,000 square. It's a Globo gym. 80,000 square feet inside. 50,000 square foot galvanized entire gym on the outside. It's in Pennsylvania. Like this dude, he either has like Saudi money behind him or he's he's like a drug kingpin. I don't, but I'm flying out there after the Ireland trip because I have to see this thing. I saw the numbers on it and I said, I don't believe it. So I'm going to go see it for myself, and I'm going to go and I'm going to study. I'm going to ask every fucking question and meet with the owner.
The numbers mean like his profitability and whatnot?
But I also, I want to know every number of everything. Like when I go somewhere, like